There is a saying we have, damned if you do and damned if you don't. I think we've got to be very, very careful that we don't end up lambasting the freest and most generous countries.
You're about...
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite girl Miriam. If you're coming across my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome to the family. And to my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. You are the best. Thanks for always stopping by to watch my videos. So you guys, today I'm back again with another Douglas Murray reaction, which says Douglas Murray shuts up Muslim girl and dismantles her case in a heated immigration debate. This is actually going to be interesting. So without much further ado, let's dive right into the video.
To watch Douglas Murray address an accusation thrown against Europe, and by extension white people, that what they do for Africa boils down to a white saviour complex. Now that's pretty shocking, isn't it? In a debate that happened years ago in Doha, the floor was opened for the audience to ask questions. One of them, a Muslim lady named Asma from Kenya, turned to Douglas and said,
"And do you think it's judicious for these people in Britain, for example, you talked about how Britain is giving aid to these countries in Africa, it's judicious for them to give this much money to these countries but without even listening to their needs? So this only contributes to the white saviour complex that is currently a big issue in..."
Before we get into Douglas's epic response, let me quickly jump in and define what white saviour complex means, seeing that's an epithet that's being thrown around a lot these days. The term refers to white people helping black people only to look like white saviours. The suggestion is that the helper only wants to feel good about his good deeds and does not care about the person whom he is assisting at all. Now, here is how Douglas responded to this sort of accusation. He, straight up, wasn't having any of it.
Well, there is a saying we have, damned if you do and damned if you don't. If it's the case that if we don't give aid, we'd be accused of not giving aid, and if we do give aid, it's a white saviour complex.
But then, Douglas conceded to one thing.
We can all give aid better, for sure, and I just gave, in my opening remarks, what I think was a serious suggestion for one very good use of aid, which is to prioritise it in the region and in the neighbouring countries of places people are fleeing from. But I mean, as I say, I would refuse as well to see the multifarious problems that exist in your own home country and sadly across the continent of Africa.
Back to Douglas in a sec. Why was the lady so quick to point fingers at Europe's magnanimity for the myriads of problems plaguing her country, and by extension, the continent of Africa? Are we to be blamed for the current political instabilities, bad governments and tribal wars happening in these places? Before we proceed, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on Douglas Murray's provocative debates. Next, another person in the audience claims that the main reason migrants are moving to Europe is because wealth is moving out of the developing world in form of debt repayment to the developed world. Here's how Douglas responded to that.
No, I don't. Again, I repeat the fact there are no simple answers. And if it was simply the fact that you could, I don't know, do a debt default or something and solve the whole migration issue, then that would be great. But it just isn't the case.
Now watch as Douglas hits the nail at the head with these rhetorical questions.
You think that if for instance, all African countries were allowed to default on debt, that they'd become burgeoning, flourishing societies? You think that the problem across, for instance, sub-Saharan Africa isn't just unbelievable greed and theft by politician after politician? You think...
There you have it. But Douglas wasn't quite done.
You think that if you just wrote off the debt, that would stop being an issue and everyone would become transparent and clean in their dealings with money? I mean, the problems are much deeper than this. They're much deeper than just a simple solution like that.
Granted, historically, Europe colonized foreign countries for reasons ranging from persecution in their own countries to the search for riches and economic benefits. But then, it is really easy to simplify and accept biased information instead of being open-minded. It's quite untrue to believe that European countries were the only ones to conquer and colonize others. Every region has done similar atrocities against others, if you go back in time far enough. But that's by the way. Now, one of the debaters sitting across from Douglas, another anti-Europe activist, made a point which drew a resounding applause from the crowd.
We call brown people migrants. We call white people who go abroad to work expats. This is really important, right?
However, Douglas, as if he had prepared ahead of time for her point, gave a response that was both fitting and truthful.
Firstly, by the way, migrants versus expats, there's a very clear reason. It's expected, rightly or wrongly, that expats don't stay in the country and bring up their families and stay for generations. The assumption with migrants is, currently has been in recent generations, that they are going to stay and that it's going to be a multi-generational thing.
Personally, I think calling these people refugees is according them respect that they do not deserve. In reality, most of them are actually callous invaders. Whereas some refugees may intend to leave for home as soon as possible, invaders intend to stay and take over. So the present group of refugees certainly belongs to the latter, and hopes of integration are misplaced since they won't, as we can see in the Turks in Germany and the Maghreb refugees in France. No multicultural society in history ever survived for long, and typically ended up with one group massacring the other, as the most recent example of Hutus and Tutsis in Rwanda showed us. To expect otherwise is sheer arrogance or simply insanity. Next, Douglas turns to everyone on stage, throwing shade at Europeans, and asks a question that leaves the whole audience speechless.
I think we've got to be very, very careful that we don't end up lambasting the freest and most generous countries. And I would just urge, as a call to, as it were, moral caution on this, urge you in this room and people watching, how many people have you made citizens of Qatar from Syria? How many? Okay.
You could have heard a pin drop in the room. Now, the truth of the matter is that Europeans are pacifists. We are, generally speaking, liberals in our thinking. This is why we assume that everyone is as kind, respectful and educated as we are, because we all have our heads in the sand and can't face the reality that we opened our borders to our enemies. I mean, the same people from the east and south we give money to actually hate us and our culture. I mean, let's face it. Islam hates Western liberal culture. They consider the West degenerate and pornographic, but it's too late to stop them from coming since they are already here. Worse still, many of them now have voting rights. That's game over. Now, guys, it's high time we all stood up and demand a change. What are your thoughts on this? Should Europe continue to accept so many refugees? Let us know what you think in the comments section.
Wow. This is a very heated and interesting argument, I must say. But the thing is, everybody has different reasons. Everybody has different reasons for immigrating. They have different reasons for going to different countries. And the fact that Europeans are seeing them as coming to invade, coming to take over their country, it might be, so okay, for some people, it might be because of war. For some people, it might be because of greener pasture. For some people, it might be that they are actually not doing well in their present country and they feel like, okay, if they go to these places, they might be exposed to a lot of opportunities. So I see no reason why they should see them as invaders. Of course, if they go to a place, of course, they would educate themselves, quite all right. They will upgrade themselves and they would apply to jobs and, in order to just to live fine and go for greener pastures, of course. So why are they seeing them as invaders? Why are they seeing them as people that wants to take over their country? They must have come to your country from being a refugee or probably as a student or something. Then along the line they upgraded themselves. Fine, they might act, even some expats. Douglas Murray was talking about, okay, even some expats, okay, they talked about some people, why do they call blacks the migrants? Why do they call blacks migrants and call the whites expats? To me, I feel like they are both the same thing. Either migrant, either you are white or black, regardless of the color. You are both migrants and you are both expats. They are both the same thing. It's because even some whites also immigrate from their own country to another country. So far they feel like they can have greener pastures there. So I see no reason why they should discriminate between one person or between colors, because these people are blacks and they feel like when they come to their country, they are coming there to take over, they are coming there to turn into a generational thing. They won't go back, while they are calling the other people expats because they will surely go back to their country. To me, I see that as not totally true. that is not totally true. There are some people that are white, there are some whites that also migrate to other countries, probably for change of environment, or probably due to getting a job, or probably due to one thing or the other. People have different reasons for relocating or for moving from one country to another. So I see no reason why that should be called invading into their country. And that is my opinion. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, if Douglas Murray is actually right on this one or not. I would like to know in the comment section down below. If you're coming across this channel for the very first time, do well to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell notification so you'll be among the first to get my videos anytime I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.